Every single week, Americans walk into grocery stores across this nation and pick up packages of what they believe is a healthier choice. Plant-based meat. The marketing tells you it's better for your body, better for the planet, and better for your conscience. But I'm here to tell you something the food industry doesn't want you to know. Some of these products contain compounds that the World Health Organization classifies as probable carcinogens. When I took office as your Secretary of Health and Human Services, I made a promise. We would make America healthy again. And that starts with telling you the truth about what's in your food, even when that truth is uncomfortable, even when it exposes the regulatory failures that have allowed corporations to poison Americans for profit. Let me be absolutely clear about what we're facing. In 2020, laboratory tests on popular fake meat products revealed something disturbing. Every single product tested exceeded California's Proposition 65 safety threshold for acrylamide, a compound the International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies as a Group 2, a probable human carcinogen. We're talking about levels that triggered mandatory warning requirements under one of the strictest consumer protection laws in the country. And yet, these products sit on your supermarket shelves right now with no warnings whatsoever. This is the chronic disease epidemic I've been warning you about. We don't have a healthcare crisis in America. We have a food crisis. And the agencies that are supposed to protect you have been captured by the very industries they're meant to regulate. Let me walk you through exactly what we found. Beyond Meat burgers tested at 29 parts per billion of acrylamide when cooked. That translates to 3.2 micrograms per serving. The Proposition 65 threshold is 0.2 micrograms per day. You're getting 16 times the safe daily limit in a single patty. Beyond Meat sausages came in at 23 parts per billion, delivering 2.3 micrograms per serving. Again, more than 11 times what California considers safe for daily consumption. Impossible Burger, the product that's been marketed as the future of sustainable protein, tested at 23 parts per billion, 2.6 micrograms per serving, 13 times the safety threshold. But here's where it gets truly concerning. Gardein sliced Italian sausage tested at 71 parts per billion, 4 micrograms per serving. That's 20 times the daily safety limit in a single portion of what's marketed as a health food. Boca All-American Burgers, a product that's been on American tables for decades, tested at 68 parts per billion, 4.8 micrograms per serving, 24 times the safe daily exposure level. This is the highest of any product tested. Morningstar Farms bacon came in at 40 parts per billion, delivering 0.64 micrograms per serving. Still more than 3 times what regulators consider safe. Now, I want you to understand something about acrylamide. This isn't some obscure chemical that only exists in laboratory conditions. Acrylamide forms when starchy foods are cooked at high temperatures. It's in your French fries, your toast, your coffee. The food industry will tell you this is nothing new, nothing to worry about. But here's what they won't tell you. The concentrations in some of these plant-based products rival the highest levels found in any food category. And this is just the acrylamide. The same laboratory tests detected heavy metals in these products, metals that accumulate in your tissues over time, bioaccumulative toxins that your body cannot easily eliminate. Where do these metals come from? The plants themselves, grown in contaminated soils, often irrigated with water that carries industrial runoff. Let me explain why this is happening. Because the problem goes far deeper than any single ingredient. These products are built on subsidized commodity crops: corn, soy, wheat, the same crops that receive billions in federal subsidies every year. The same crops that are drenched in glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup, which the World Health Organization also classifies as a probable human carcinogen. The incestuous relationship between our regulatory agencies and the food industry has created a system where corporations can put virtually anything on your plate as long as it's generally recognized as safe. That RAS designation is a joke. Companies can self-certify their own ingredients. They don't need FDA approval. They just need to hire their own scientists, conduct their own studies, and declare their own product safe. In Europe, the regulatory standard is completely different. European regulators apply the precautionary principle. If there's reasonable evidence that a substance might cause harm, it stays out of the food supply until proven safe. In America, we do the opposite. We allow substances into food until there's overwhelming evidence of harm. By then, millions of Americans have already been exposed. This is why we're in the midst of a metabolic health crisis, unlike anything in human history. Before 1980, childhood obesity was essentially unknown. Type 2 diabetes in children was so rare that it was called adult-onset diabetes. Today, more than 40% of American adults are obese. 1 in 3 will develop diabetes. Rates of autoimmune disease, neurological disorders, and hormone-related cancers have exploded. And the agencies tasked with protecting you, they've been captured. Former food industry executives rotate into FDA leadership positions. FDA officials leave to take lucrative jobs with the companies they once regulated. This is corporate capture at its most destructive. Now, here's what the industry defenders will tell you. They'll say acrylamide is everywhere, that you can't avoid it, that the levels in plant-based meat are no different than what you'd find in potato chips or toast. And technically, that's true. But here's my question. Since when did we start comparing health foods to potato chips? These products are marketed as the healthy alternative. They're priced at a premium. They're sold to health-conscious consumers who are trying to do right by their bodies. And we're telling them it's acceptable that these products contain carcinogen levels comparable to junk food. This is the double standard that infuriates me. When I point out problems with processed food, the industry says, well, everything has some risk. When I suggest returning to traditional whole foods, they call me a conspiracy theorist. But the science is clear. Ultra-processed foods, whether they're made from plants or animals, are driving our chronic disease epidemic. Let me also address the comparison to real meat, because this is where the conversation gets interesting. The World Health Organization classifies processed meat, your bacon, your hot dogs, your deli slices, as a group 1 carcinogen. Not probably carcinogenic, definitely carcinogenic. The same category as tobacco and asbestos. Consuming 50 grams of processed meat per day, about 2 slices of bacon, increases your risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. So when I tell you to be cautious about fake meat, I'm not telling you to go eat processed meat instead. Both products represent the same fundamental problem. We've replaced real food with industrial food products engineered for shelf stability, mouthfeel, and corporate profit, not for human health. The fake meat industry was supposed to be different. It was supposed to offer a path forward, a way to feed humanity without the environmental destruction of factory farming, without the health risks of processed animal products. Instead, they gave us a different kind of ultra-processed food with its own set of problems. But we have to stop eating science experiments and start eating food again. Real food, the kind our grandparents ate, the kind that comes from living soil, raised by farmers who understand that the health of the land and the health of the people are inseparable. This brings me to what actually works. There are farmers across this country who are doing things differently. They're raising animals on pasture the way nature intended. They're building soil instead of depleting it. They're producing meat that's actually nutritious, with higher omega-3 fatty acids, more vitamins, and none of the chemical residues you find in factory farm products. White Oak Pastures in Georgia has become a model for regenerative agriculture. They've proven you can raise livestock in a way that actually sequesters carbon, that builds topsoil, that supports biodiversity. Their products represent what American agriculture used to be before we industrialized everything. Polyphase Farms in Virginia, run by Joel Salatin, has been pioneering rotational grazing and integrated farming systems for decades. This is the kind of farming that works with nature instead of against it. Force of Nature Meats is bringing regenerative beef, bison, and other ancestral proteins to consumers who understand that how your food is raised matters as much as what it is. Belcampo Farms and similar operations are proving that you can scale regenerative practices without sacrificing quality. These aren't boutique operations serving only the wealthy. They're models for what our entire food system could become. Local ranches across the heartland, family operations that have been raising cattle on grass for generations, represent the backbone of a healthier food future. These farmers have been doing things right all along. They just need markets that value their work. If you want to eat meat from animals that live like animals, that grazed on grass under open skies. That contributed to the health of the land instead of destroying it. This is not about going backward. It's about going forward with wisdom, applying what our grandparents knew intuitively and what modern science is now confirming. And if you want to eat plants, real plants, whole foods, legumes, vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, foods that don't require a chemistry degree to understand the ingredient list. What you should avoid is the industrial middle ground. These hyper-processed products, whether they're fake meat or real meat pumped full of antibiotics and growth hormones, represent the same broken system. They're designed by food scientists to maximize profit and minimize costs. Your health is not part of the equation. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Read your labels. If you can't pronounce the ingredients, if the list goes on for 30 lines, if it includes things that sound like they belong in a laboratory, put it back on the shelf. Know your farmer. Whether you eat meat or not, understanding where your food comes from is the single most powerful thing you can do for your health. Vote with your wallet. Every purchase is a vote for the kind of food system you want. Support the farmers doing things right. Reject the corporations cutting corners with your health, and demand change from your elected officials. We are working to reform these regulatory agencies, to break the grip of corporate capture, to establish transparent labeling that tells you what's really in your food. We need you in this fight. The chronic disease epidemic is not inevitable. It's the result of choices made by corporations prioritizing profit over people, choices made by regulators who forgot who they work for, and choices made by consumers who were never given the information they needed. We are changing those choices. We are going to clean this up. But I need you to understand what is in your pantry. I need you to question what you've been told. I need you to join this movement. This is about more than any single product or any single ingredient. This is about whether we're going to continue allowing our children to be poisoned for profit, or whether we're going to stand up and demand something better. The science is on our side. The American people are on our side. And we are not going to stop until every family in this country has access to real, clean, nourishing food. Let's make America healthy again.